All right, hello everyone, and we're back after yesterday. We said we would get to you. We would get some more information to you, some critical information regarding the application to the Cal Grant program. And the purpose of this instructional video is to walk you through the actual application process to make sure that you're not missing any fundamental parts of the application, that you're very well prepared going into it, that you have everything together that you need to have in order to successfully apply. And it's been my experience in working with the Small Business Development Center. We've helped a lot of people apply for the Payroll Protection Program and Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and specifically with the PPP, where we had this limited timeline. It was very complicated. A lot of people had errors with their applications that were not their fault at all, and it resulted in some problems. They weren't even able to get funding. So now I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here, but really, ultimately, what we would like to do is provide you with clear information so that you're ready to apply. And then when you do, you're not looking for documents or trying to get extra information that's going to cause your computer system to time out. Now the application's blown up. So now, some for you who already have applied, there definitely has been. It's a bad moment. There's been some application issues, and in fact, we sent the email out yesterday, and Lenderstreet's basically replied back that an update to the system tomorrow that Lenderstreet is telling us is hopefully going to fix some of the issues you're having. Some of you are saying that you got booted out of the application process without actually finishing the application. Others aren't able to upload documents. Still others are having password issues, and those aren't being reset. So looking at the big picture, Lenderstreet says they're going to address these issues, and we're going to try and keep you up to date with any information that we have on that. But for right now, what we would suggest is for those who haven't applied, gather your information, wait until their system update, which should be midday tomorrow. So it may make more practical sense for you just to go ahead and get applied sometime tomorrow. That way nothing blows up, or maybe even Tuesday. And then for those of you who have already tried to apply or having issues, you can keep trying to relog in, but wait until after tomorrow. That would be Monday, for those to be corrected. So, and the good news is the application, again, is not on a first come, first serve basis. So this is a really good thing. So let's actually take a minute here and let's go through the entire process from start to finish. First, we're going to go over some of the grant program basics. Now, I don't want to waste a lot of your time on this. In fact, I'll scroll through some of these screens pretty quickly. You can always rewind or scroll back and pause the screen if you want to actually see some of this information. I'm trying to record it in high res as possible. But let's just go over a couple of very quick grant basics when we get into this. So about the grant program, this is the one thing here on the left that I want to call out is there are 2 rounds, and we're applying for the first round. Those grants that aren't actually granted during the first round, but applications have been accepted, they will be considered for the second round. And they highlight here, this is not on a first come, first serve basis. Here's the key on the right-hand side: grant funding structure eligible. The amount in which you apply for is only 3 amounts: 5,000, 15,000, or 25,000, and it's based on your annual gross revenue. This gross revenue is the amount found on your tax return. We're going to go over that a little bit later. It's critically important that you know that. So you can see it's pretty clear here. 100,000 to a million to 2.5 million, and then 1,000 to $100,000. You can't show 0 gross revenue and apply for the grant. That would not qualify you for application. And again, gross revenue different than net revenue. So it's not how much profit you made. You may have lost money, but you still have gross revenue. That's your total receipts. And again, we'll go over that as identified on the appropriate tax forms. So you have to be a small business. So that means you're sole proprietors, independent contractors, 1099 workers, as we talk here, C Corps and S Corps, limited liability companies that have a yearly gross revenue of 2.5 million or less, again, as identified on your tax return. And this is based on the most recent available tax return, 2018 or 2019. Here's the catch. A lot of people are showing maybe different income in 2018 Maybe they made more and put them into a higher category. And then 2019 comes around and they're saying, oh, well, can I use my 2018 tax returns? Well, no, we have to use the most recent ones that you filed. Also, small nonprofits qualify as well. I'm assuming the majority of you aren't nonprofits, but you can take a look at the screen if it's of interest to you. Eligibility requirements, you must be a small business. Again, we're not going to spend too much time on these because we're assuming if you're trying to apply, you've probably done some due diligence already. You must be impacted by COVID-19 and health and safety restrictions such as business interruptions, shelter in place, etc. Have had an impact on your business. Applicants are required to certify eligibility. Basically, we'll go over what that means. We have to fill out a eligibility paperwork. Here's a key point. Applicants with multiple franchise entities or franchise locations are not eligible. So you could be a franchisee, but let's say you have 5 McDonald's. You can't apply for all 5. You can only apply for one grant for one of your businesses. And then, of course, you have to provide organizing documents, an acceptable form of government ID. So this next bit we're going to go over under revenue verification. This might be the most important part of the slide that I can get across, just so that we know, one of the most important parts of this presentation. Revenue is determined based on IRS tax form definition of gross sales, less any returns and allowances is reported on the following. So you're going to have to pull out your tax returns. So look at your 2019 tax returns. If you're an S Corp, you're going to look on line 1C of your form 1120S. So here's an 1120S right here. You can see line 1C, your gross receipts minus return and allowances. That's what you're going to be looking at. If you are a sole proprietor or an LLC, a single member LLC filing as such, then you're going to use form 1040, which we see here, and you're going to use line 3. This is going to be your gross receipts. So that is the form. That's where we're going to get that figure from, and then it's the same for partnerships as well. You're going to want to go to, again, the appropriate filing. If you're a nonprofit, your form 990, and for farming businesses, line 1C on your Schedule F. So it's not that complicated, but that is the number we're going to use in the application itself. So I want you to remember that when you think gross income, you can't make a number up. It's going to have to be verified. So that's critical. Next, about the application, how many rounds are there? There's 2. The due date is January 8th. That's the main thing we want you to know for the first round. So we have a little bit of time, and since it's not on a first come, first serve basis, this is good. Use of funds, eligible use of funds. Again, not going to get too deep into this right now. I'm primarily want to help you apply, but let's just assume that working capital or operating costs of your business are eligible. Payroll, for example, cost of goods sold, etc. And we'll look at maybe some of the ineligible use of funds. That might be better. Human resource expenses for the state share and Medicaid, employee bonuses or severance pay, taxes, legal settlements. You can't use it to pay off a lawsuit. Personal expenses other than expenses unrelated to COVID-19 impacts, expenses for repairs or damages already covered by insurance, reimbursement to donors. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory, and let's wait until everyone gets granted the grant, and then we can figure out exactly how to spend it. We're willing to work with you on that. We'll talk about the application process itself. So just a few things I'd like to go over with this. Here we go. How will recipients be determined? There's 4 criteria that Lendistry is telling us right now. We don't know how it's weighted, frankly, but again, business located in areas impacted. It had basically been more greatly impacted by COVID than other areas. Businesses impacted the most financially based on gross revenue losses. So if you can prove that you've had a gross revenue loss, well, then that's going to weigh in heavily. And that actually will factor into your application as well. So we'll show you on the application where you're going to be reporting this information. Certain impacted industries, including retail, food and hospitality, health and wellness, and personal care. So like I say, beauty, nail salons, etc. So if your industry has been determined to be impacted greatly, that's going to factor in. And that's going to be determined in the application as well, because you're going to state the industry that you're involved in here, or that you're working in. And then to underserved small business groups, women-owned, minority, person of color-owned, veteran-owned businesses, where at least 51% of the businesses own and run on a daily basis by these groups. So, and again, you have to certify. We don't have information as to exactly how that's verified, but you essentially sign what is like an affidavit. You're signing, saying that that you qualify for these things. So. Notification of funding. When will I find out if I received an award? You'll be notified by email if you've been awarded, waitlisted, or not selected. Lendistry intends to send approval notifications for the first round weekly, starting on or around January 13th, 2020. I don't know about you. I see a lot of legalese in there. Intends to, starting on or around. So let's hope for January 13th. If there's snags in the process, it might take longer. I think we can expect that there's some snags, but hopefully this process goes smooth. And the good news is if you're not selected in the first round, you may get a chance to be selected in the second. So a couple tips for applying. There's a few things, another sheet I want to show you here. So this is sort of my little cheat sheet for things that are really going to help you cut down on the time it takes to apply. First and foremost, know this, you can we want to go through this and have everything together before you apply. That's the first thing. You can only submit one application. So some of you have been having errors, or there's been issues where you've submitted halfway through an application. And then the crazy thing is you're not actually given a username and login prior to submitting your application. It's all a part of the process. And so you can't log back in, or at least some people aren't able to log back in. They haven't even been given a username and password, yet they've submitted an application or got partway through. Again, all part of the epic fail issues that they're experiencing right now. So we want to minimize those. One of the first things you can do is just note, let's get it done right the first time. You can only submit one application. If there are errors, allegedly, you're going to be able to go back in and fix them. But for now, let's try and get it right the first time. Number one is use the Google Chrome browser. While it's mobile friendly, they're saying, and you can apply on a phone or a tablet. If at all possible, we recommend using a computer and downloading the Google Chrome browser. And I forgot to put a link to Chrome in here, but I will, and I'll post that in the YouTube video notes. Number two, gather your 2018 and 2019 tax returns. This is personal and or business returns. So if you're filing as a sole proprietor, it's going to be your personal returns. If it's a business, you're going to have the appropriate business returns. And as an LLC filing, basically, like a sole proprietor or using the same tax forms, you're going to want to have those. Get those ready ahead of time before you apply, because you're going to need to identify those numbers we looked at earlier here. Remember your gross income number. So have that number ready, written down, and ready to go. Download the Applicant Certifications and fill it out and scan it. We're going to go over that process here shortly. That's the next thing you're going to want to do. And I have a link which we'll put in the description to the certifications. Here is the next big one, and probably going to be the biggest pain for all of you. Run financial reports. This is an income statement that you're going to want to run, or what is otherwise known as a profit and loss statement. The application through Lendistry asks how much money you made from April 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2019. And they also ask how much you made from April 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2020. So you're going to have to pull that data somehow. How are you going to pull that data? It's really up to you. If you're using standard financial software like QuickBooks, it's relatively easy, or even personal software like Quicken, it's relatively easy to run a report to show your income and expenses. Some people use the shoebox method of accounting, as I call it, where you put all your invoices in one shoebox and your receipts in the other, and then at the end of the year you add them up and that's what you made. Well, may make it more complicated to identify how much money you've made. But you're going to want to come with as accurate information as is possible in case you're asked to verify it. So that's key. Then you're going to want to look up ahead of time your NAICS code. That's the North American Industry Classification System code. basically is a number that says what type of business you are. So that's the next thing you're going to want to look up. And in fact, you know what? Let's just go ahead and look at the NAICS website right now. I'm going to pull this up, and how about we do this? We're just going to pop this up here, and we're going to go over to the NAICS main website here. Actually, what I can do is I can do this, can't I? There we go. That's a little bit better. So you're going to come to NAICS.com, and up here at the top right, it says find your NAICS code. This is where you're going to want to look up here. So in fact, just so I can sort of highlight it, it's this area right up in here. So you're definitely going to want to click on that. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated. You'll see that there's a lot of these subcategories here, like for example, agricultural, forestry. Click on construction. Now, here's what is interesting. You'll notice here, the codes 23 relate to construction here. And you have 2361, residential building construction. You cannot use code 2361 on this application. Even if that's what you are, you have to use a 6-digit code, or at least it's asking for a 6-digit code. So it's recommended that we use a 6-digit code. Again, try not to blow up the application. So a further designation of 2361 would be 236115, new single-family home construction, or 236116, new multifamily housing construction. Residential remodelers. If your business is not accurately represented in there, try and choose the one that works best. And again, try and find the 6-digit code. Now you'll notice I navigated here. I was on the main page, and I just picked a general industry. That's one way in which it may be the easiest for you to do. Just look at what you might qualify for. Like we look at, let's see, other services except public administration, automotive repair and maintenance, personal and household goods repair and maintenance, like handyman, barbershops, beauty salons. Let's click on beauty salons. There you go. So there's your NAICS code and some information down here as to what code you would use. So another method that you can search is you can just search right up here in NAICS search. So you could search for salon. Beauty salons and nail salons are actually slightly different code here. And then you could click, let's say, on nail salons, and here's going to be your code, 812113. So go ahead of time before you apply for the application, before you even start the process. We want you to visit this website and get that code. So in review, you're going to download you're going to have your taxes in front of you. You're going to have Google Chrome downloaded and working as your browser. You're going to get your NAICS code. You're going to take the time to dig in your shoebox or your financial software, and you're going to run those financial reports, get a good idea of what your income was in those dates we discussed over here. All right. And then from there, what do we do? Well, again, we already talked a little bit about these tax forms right here. And note that you might have paper copies of these forms. That's great. That's actually great. That's all you need right now. Dig them out. But eventually, it's possible that you may need to upload income verification, upload these forms in PDF format at some point in time in the relatively near future. So, and in fact, let's go back here. I don't know that we talked about application stages in detail here. This is actually also a really important slide. So what we're going to be going over right now is this stage 1, part 1, complete the grant application. Upload selected financial and organizational documents. Industry's portal for that is broken, or at least they're saying it's up. They're saying they're collecting applications first before they allow people to start uploading documents. However, people originally were able to upload documents, and that's where a lot of crashing was happening of their system. So again, another epic fail. So hopefully that gets fixed. So as of right now, uploading documents is shut down. So we're just going to go through that phase. You will get an email notification once you have applied, sending you a username and a password once you've completed stage 1, step 1 here. And then you will get another email notification asking you to upload the application documents. And then you're going to want to, number 3 here, self-certify the accuracy of the information by signing the application certification. We're going to take a look at that right now. It's actually the next thing we're going to look at. So a couple other things you need to note here. A copy of the signed certification form, we need to have that. Your most recent tax returns, we know that, and it needs to be in PDF, JPEG, or other approved upload format. Do it in PDF, and you want the complete tax return, not just that one page. So it helps to have the complete tax return. Don't recommend doing it in JPEG form because you're going to have 15, 20 different files of each page. Try and get it in PDF form. An acceptable form of government issued ID. So let's just say your driver's license or ID card, and then acceptable evidence of minimum gross annual revenue of no less than $1,000 per year. That's going to be, again, your tax form there. So a couple quick little pro tips that we'll put out here is we've got, in order to scan, just come up over here. If you don't have a scanner, you can download these 2 programs, Genius Scan and Adobe Scan, and I'm going to put the links in the YouTube video. Genius Scan is an application here. I think I've got the link right here for Genius Scan. There's an application here that allows you to use your phone. You can scan receipts, etc. It does a pretty good it's a smart capture device that will convert your files into PDFs. And as is noted here, create multi-page PDF documents if you have to do your taxes or whatever. It's a lot better than trying to, go out to FedEx Kinko's probably right now. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. If that doesn't work, you can also try Adobe Scan as well, which we'll put a link to that here. So again, just a pro tip for you there. Now, the next thing we want to go over is the certification document. So let's see if we can find that. That's it right here. California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program Application Certifications. I'm not going to waste your time going over all of these. This basically is required, and you have to initial in all of these areas, and then sign, date, print your name, your title, your social security number, and the business name. So here's something that's actually, that's a good point. If it's your employment identification number, it may make sense for you to well, we'll have to get some clarification on this for you. But if you are a corporation, you would put your federal tax ID number. And if you're a self-employed individual that is not incorporated, you would put your social security number. So I recommend printing this out and scanning it, signing it, doing everything by hand and scanning it. If you want just to be legible, you can type in, John Doe, title, CEO, applicant business name, Onzoid Development. So print it out. A lot of people have been having issues or tend to have issues with these forms actually saving. So what you don't want to do is think you've got a saved form, eventually upload it, and then it's completely blank. So plus, how else are you going to sign this thing? I mean, they're not using DocuSign. So I recommend typing some of these out, printing out what is legible, initialing each thing with your own, with an ink pen, and then signing it, scanning it, and you're done. So these again are the application certifications. They're basically saying that you haven't been convicted of crimes, that you've been impacted by COVID. Nothing is nefarious. You're not giving your left kidney or anything like that. It's really a pretty vanilla set of certifications. So, all right. Now let's actually, what's next? We talked about mobile scanning. We talked about NAICS codes. We reviewed the IRS forms. That's great. Now let's take a look at the actual application online. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize the screen. And this is where you're going to apply. CAReliefgrants.com. Again, we'll put a note to that in the description here. And you're going to choose your county. So let's just say, for example, that you're Sacramento County. And there are multiple partners that you can apply through. The most common question, which partner do we apply through? How do we apply through? You know, do I know? Is it going to impact me in any way, shape, or form if I apply this through any one individual partner? No. To the best of our knowledge, it's not the case. I work with the Small Business Development Center. Technically speaking, anyone in California can apply through the California Small Business Development Center. So that's kind of a safe one. You click apply now, and it's going to take you to this page right here where it says find grants now. See this thing here, sign into your account right here. That's all I have to say about that. Okay. Don't try and enter anything. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but do not try and enter anything in there right now for your first application. You have to find the grant. You have to apply first. So just letting everyone know, clear that out. So when you click on that, it's now going to take you to this page, California Small Business Relief Grant Program. They look identical, the one on the right and the one on the left. The one here on the right, just notice this here under eligibility requirements. That's for nonprofits. So it's going to be a slightly different looking application. This is for for-profit businesses. So again, the majority of you are going to be applying this one here. So you're going to click that apply now button. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to click that apply now button, but I'm going to do that. Or find grants. Let's see. This, you're going to see it says apply now. I'm actually using a demo program so that I can show you I can demonstrate how to do this. So actually filling out an application. So this would otherwise say apply now. You click on that and it's going to take you to the very first page of the application. So I'm just going to walk through every single step and we're going to do a fake application right now. And by the end of this, you're going to know all the pitfalls. You're going to have an idea of why you needed to collect the information ahead of time to make it as smooth as possible. So let's just say our name is Jane. Actually, how about Jennifer Porter? Somebody that used to work for my company. Oops, already made a mistake. Last name Porter. And let's do this. How about we make this a little more legible for everyone here? Email address. Jennifer at ponzoid.com. We're cutting and pasting. How about this? Let's do, nope, don't call my phone number there. It's my Google Voice. Let's try 866 8675309. It's a good one, right? Here's another pro tip in life. If you're ever at CVS, Save Mart, any of these places that ask you for a phone number and you need to come up with one, 8675309 works every time. All right, so business name. Let's pretend to be a construction company. Ponzoid Development. And let's go 90210. How does that sound? We all know 90210. So again, confirm everything. Going to want to make sure addresses are the same. Phone numbers are the same. Owner cell phone number, confirm owner cell phone number. I like to cut and paste, just highlight and hit Control C and then hit Control V because that way I know it's the same. And then I'm looking at it very carefully. And this is pretty important. Email is the most critical. This is where people make the #1 mistake. So by putting the wrong email address. So we need you to make sure that it's going to you. And you're going to click continue. Now you're going to go to, Oh, it says success. Data has been saved successfully. Please fill in the rest of this information here. So look, it already pre-populated some of these things. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 Bedford Avenue, Beverly Hills, California, 90210, and that would be in Los Angeles County. So we're going to choose that. When was Jennifer born? What do you say? How about the summer of '69? If we're going to be going with songs, June 1st, '69. Isn't that Bon Jovi song? I can't remember. Shame on me. That's an epic fail. So let's let's use a fake social. All right. Bryan Adams, summer of '69. Bon Jovi. Terrible. Wait a minute. For that, I get the Price is Right sound effect. All right. Percentage ownership. 100%, let's say. Now, this is going to vary depending on your it's going to vary. Well, for numerous reasons, it's going to vary, but it's going to vary depending upon your actual ownership. But for the majority of you, you're either going to have a corporate officer signing this, or you're going to have, as a sole proprietor, you're 100% owner. You want the majority owner to be the one applying for this. A couple of quick things. Owner address. Okay. So where are you going to put, what are you going to put as your address? This is your personal information, the owner, or the one who's applying. You're going to accept these terms and conditions. Save and agree. Now, Ponzoid Development. If you have a DBA, maybe you're Ponzoid Development doing business as Honest Construction. EIN. Two 0410035. I don't know. Let's make that up. Business phone number 866. Was it 8675309? Business type. I'm going to show you another fail on the Lendistry application. Thanks, Lendistry. Look at this. We choose sole proprietorship with employees. The next thing over here is the state of incorporation. Last time I checked, sole proprietors don't incorporate. But you're going to want to just put whatever state that you're in. So whatever state that you filed your business license, or just whatever state you're operating business in. And guess what state that really needs to be in? State of California. So, well, technically you have to have an address in California, be operating in California. You can be incorporated somewhere else. Like, let's say you're a Delaware LLC doing business in California. But we're going to be a corporation because it fits with the Lendistry application. Now we're going to go to California. Business address. Let's say it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Bedford Avenue. Now, I recommend should be like your business physical place of address. It makes the most common sense wherever you file your statement of information with the Secretary of State, that's what you put as your business address. Unless it's out of the state that it's sent to, then you want to put your physical address. But that would be my recommendation. And that, or if you just have a physical address, like a retail brick and mortar type shop, you could put it there. If your business address is your home and your sole proprietorship or doing business out of the home, then you could put that there as well. But it needs to be an address that is clearly associated with your business. So Bedford Avenue, city, Hills, California, Los Angeles County, and 90210. Date business was established. The easiest way to find this is to go back and look at your filed articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State if you have those, if you're a corporation. If you're a sole proprietorship, take your best stab. Maybe you know the exact date, but do your best at this. So let's say we're going to go 2006, January 1st. Now, oh, here's the thing. If you don't have a DBA, I noted up here, honest construction. What if we're just Ponzoid development? You don't have a DBA. You must type none. You cannot leave the field blank. You must type none. So just letting you know. Website. If you have a website, you need to put it here. So let's make an interesting website here. I don't know. Ponzoid. www.ponzoiddev.com. Someday you can ask me the story of the Ponzoid. It's an interesting one. All right. A couple of other quick tips up here in the email address. In fact, I think I have this over here in Acrobat. Let's bring it up here. Bring Acrobat back up. So under quick tips, obviously we're using Google Chrome. Email addresses that start with info@ will not be accepted. One of the quickest ways to get your application rejected. Apparently there is a spam filter or some sort of filter at Lendistry, which is not okay. So don't send anything info@, like example, mycompany.com. Emails ending with @contact.com or @noreply.com will not be accepted as well. So just thought I would point that out. It's actually probably not a major issue for all of you, but we would hate for somebody to get denied because of some minor clerical error with an email address. So use a valid email address that you've got that doesn't contain any of that information. So coming back down here, you enter your website. Great. How about this? What if you don't have a website? That's fine. You have to type none.com. You must do it, otherwise the application is incomplete. Purpose of the grant, you're going to state what you think the purpose of the grant is for you. Rent, mortgage interest, utilities, group healthcare, or other. I can't tell you what to put here, and we don't know whether or not this has any impact at all on how you're going to be funded. For purposes of this, I'm going to select payroll because, hey, who doesn't have payroll? Will this grant create new jobs? Just answer whether you think it will or won't create new jobs. Let's say that it will. Let's say in this instance that I have one full-time employee, and then it's going to create one extra job because I can use the grant to purchase some equipment to hire somebody else, maybe a computer for an admin position, or maybe it won't. Then you're just going to leave it as number of jobs created. You're just going to leave it as 0. Amount requested. Okay. Check eligibility. You see this? Remember this right here? Eligible amount. You're going to go back to this form right here. Tax return, for example. And let's say this is $255,000. Well, that would qualify you coming over here to the check eligibility area for the between 100,000 and $1 million. And that would qualify us for a $15,000 grant. So we're going to put the 15,000. Annual revenue. That's where we're going to put this amount. You see over here, 255. Let's put 255,000. And put the exact amount, even if there's pennies, 255,055 cents. You're going to want to put that. Number of part-time employees, 0. Let's just say I'm going to create a job. Number of jobs retained. Okay. So if by getting this grant, is it going to help you retain a job? Well, if you have 10 employees, and are you going to be able to keep some of those 10, or keep any number of those 10, you're going to put that there. If you as a sole proprietor, it makes sense. You can retain your job by getting this grant. You select one. Okay, so business demographics. This is important here. Because this is where we're doing that NAICS search. That's where we're going to start entering that in. Oops, wait a minute. Okay. So who is your customer base? Business to business, business to customer, both. I have no idea whether or not, again, this impacts your business, but it may actually impact some of the algorithms here. Let's just say both. This is extremely frustrating. Thanks again, Lendistry. You don't have an accurate list of businesses here. So all I can tell you is try and find the most applicable business and get your NAICS code as accurate as possible. So, and I'll show you this here. So what does your business do? I'm going to walk you through the problems here. Sells products. What type of business is it? Wholesale durable, wholesale non-durable, retail trade. So I'm going to go retail trade. There are only these categories: general merchandise, food and grocery, automotive dealers and gasoline, apparel and accessory, home furniture. That's the only things you have. Okay, what about this? Let's make things less interesting. A service business. What type of business is it? These are the only options you have: insurance, real estate, hotels, camps, lodging, personal services, business services, auto repair, amusement, recreation, health services, and professional. So if you choose personal services, tell us more. The only thing that populates here is a laundromat, photographer, beauty salon, and shoe repair. And when's the last time you've been to a shoe repair place? So, oh, funeral services. That is a service. So there's just not a lot there. So you may have to kind of toy with finding something that makes the most sense. I'm going to go here to construction business. Am I making sense here? You're going to have to try and find what most accurately represents you here. And then the key there is, again, the NAICS code. So I think the intent was just to help you find your NAICS code more easily by putting some of these in, and it's not working. So, all right. Construction business, general contractor, and then tell us some more. Non-residential other than industrial. That's what I'm going to choose. NAICS code. Let's go back to the NAICS, shall we? We're going to go to construction. Here we are: commercial and institutional building construction, industrial building construction. Well, I chose something let's just run with this one here, 236220. And it gives you an idea like of codes that could be used down here. And again, you're looking at the 2017 NAICS. And these are all the, like if you're an airport building construction, well, you would use that. Administration building, you'd use that. How about this? Addition, alteration, and renovation, for sale, builders, commercial, institutional building. That would be like a government institutional building. I don't know. But the codes are all the same, at least for this. So that's what we would put. Let's see, 236220. Now, I just violated a cardinal rule here. What I don't want you doing during this process, if you can avoid it, is going to the NAICS, somehow clicking on the wrong button, closing this screen, and now your application's blown up. You want to ahead of time, remember, got your code, written it down, and you can put it in there. So woman-owned business, Jennifer Porter. Why, yes, it is. Veteran? No. Disabled? No. Race? Let's say she is white. Why are we saying that? We are saying that because there are no additional certifications right here other than this right here in the disclosures regarding race. So we are going to take the simple path here. Not Hispanic or Latino. Franchise, no. Rural, to be honest with you, don't know. There's no definition here as to what rural is. So if you are even remotely questioning that you're in a rural area, I would say no. Is your business 51% minority or veteran owned? Minority, a person of color, small business means the following racial ethnic groups is identified by the applicant, etc. here. So we're going to click no. All right. Here are the questions of doom. What was the gross revenue for your business for April 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2019? What we, again, don't want you doing is going and hunting for this information now and trying to scrap it together. And now your application time's out and everything's blown up. Have this ready to go ahead of time. Take a day, take two, whatever you need. Let's say that the gross revenue in 2019 for that time period was $140,000. Okay. And remember, gross revenue, it's not income minus expenses. It's just how much did you bring in during that period of time. So it should make it a little bit easier for you to do that research. What was the gross revenue for your business April 1st through 2020 through September 30th? Actually, no, because let's make this 175,000. It's more in line with the 2019 tax return we were looking at. So for the same time period in 2020, this is clearly establishing if there was an economic impact during COVID. So if you made more money during COVID, it's safe to assume that this is one way which they may determine that. And they haven't actually stated how this is verified specifically, but I would do everything in your power, everything possible to grab as much real data as you can on this. All right, what was the gross revenue? Let's say it's 100,000. Is your business currently in need of advising or technical assistance services? I'm just going to say, no, I don't. Do you need a loan? Sure. Yes, I do. And during the last 9 months, have you seen any COVID-related emergency grants? Okay. So first off, these first two right here, are you in need of technical assistance? And are you in need of loans? I don't know if this is just sort of advertising, sniffing, them saying, hey, let us provide you a loan as Lendistry. I don't know. But if you remotely think that you are in need of a loan, it's probably not a bad idea to say yes. Or if you're in need of any sort of advising or technical services, it's probably not a bad idea to say yes if you're in need of that. During the last 9 months, has your business received any COVID-19 emergency grants? Let's say yes, we did. So if yes, what was the name of the program where you received funding? We have the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, Local Municipal Grant or Loan Program, SBA PPP, or other. Let's say we got the PPP, and let's say that we got it for $45,000. Okay, here's where things get complicated. What if you got two? Which one do you put? Really hard to say, isn't it? We are told that this has no negative impact on whether you get a grant or not. So I don't have an answer for you as to which one you would put if you got the EIDL or if you got the PPP, or if you received another local municipal grant, which is another reason to work with us at the SBDC, because we can help you get an EIDL. We keep track of local municipal grants and are going to be helping those with the second round of the PPP or another source of funding. So anyways, we only have the ability to choose one. So now we've completed the disclosures. Now, that's it. This is the end. So I would just take some time, go back, scroll, make sure you've got everything filled out right. Specifically double check that email on owner details and email up here. And then once you're all done, you can click submit. All right. Do not, I repeat, do not hit save and continue later. This is a big mistake. Let's read this. Once you have submitted your application, you will no longer be able to edit your responses. You are agreeing that the information provided is accurate. Type yes to continue. Do not hit save and continue later, because that could blow up your grant. I guess if you absolutely have to for some reason, you could, but my recommendation is don't. Just type yes. And now it takes rid of the option to save and continue later. All right. Now you're going to click continue. And as the French say, la voilà. The grant program was funded by the state of California, administered by the Office of the Small Business Advocates. So please check your email, including clutter, junk, and spam for your username and password from noreply@mylenderstreet.com. Okay, so make sure to do that. If you have, if you're using Gmail or a POP service or some other sort of, older AOL, whatever you're using, you should take the time to Google or figure out exactly how to look at your spam filters. It's a pretty important thing, or put them on a safe sender list here. So please use this link to add additional information or to upload requested documents. Open this link in a new tab. It didn't work. So, and again, this is a demo program. All right. So here's what I want to show you. It is highly likely that until we can get to phase 2 and you can open you can upload documents, you're going to receive, let's pull this up here. You're going to receive an email that looks something like this. Hi, Nicholas. That's me. This is my own application, which I applied for. Thank you for applying for the California Relief Grant. You will receive your username and password within 48 hours. Due to high demand, the file upload step will temporarily be delayed to allow every business the opportunity to submit the application form. Okay. You will be notified by Lenderstreet once uploads are enabled for you to complete your application. This will not have any impact on grant selection. So again, the idea of first come, first serve, not being an issue, well, I mean, you're not even going to be able to upload documents now anyway. So that's really sort of the final step. So coming back to this, we have completed, let's see, we're going to annotate. We've completed this step right here. Step 1, complete grant application. Upload selected financial organizational documents. Nope, that's the next step. And then self-certify that the accuracy of the information by signing the application certification. You already should have done that. We've reviewed the application certification. You're going to want to get a PDF copy of that. And then stage 2. All right. So once what you've sent is accepted or acceptable, let's see, we'll just read through this here. Actually, let me clear this out. And we're going to stop the annotations. Once selected for funding, applicants will be required to provide additional documentation as set forth below and recertify to the accuracy of the information. The following information will be required from all applicants in stage 2. A copy of official filing with the Secretary of State, which must be active. If applicable, or local municipality or business, such as one of the following, which must be provided in electronic format for upload. So basically the copy of the official filing with the Secretary of State, articles of incorporation, one document, certificate of organization, fictitious name at registration, government issued business license. It seems to me like submitting multiple of these documents, if you have them, is a good idea. Make sure you have a clear PDF as well to submit. For eligible nonprofit entity applicants, a copy of the entity's most recent IRS tax exemption letter and verification of bank account via electronic registration or other approved review process. So as a part of stage 2, apparently we're going to have to verify our bank accounts. And I don't have any other additional information on it right now. In fact, maybe some of you who have tried to apply have already got to this step and things blew up. Maybe you were able to successfully apply, but we'll be making another video reviewing that process as well moving forward, or at least giving you some tips and tricks on that. One other final thing I wanted to show you here regarding scanned documents. I guess I'm a little bit picky about this, but this is from Lendistry themselves. Acceptable electronic submissions, something like this on the left here, okay? So California Relief Grant, Lendistry, very clearly legible. These are photos which are not acceptable. And those scanning applications generally tend to cut out all this background junk and adjust the contrast of the image to make it appear a little bit more like an actual scan. But ideally, what you will end up doing is just going to find a scanner or using one of those scanner apps. So just wanted to highlight that. So hopefully we've been able to answer all of your questions. And actually, technically, you haven't asked any questions yet, but hopefully we've been able to answer a lot of your questions or avoid you needing to ask them by going through this process. And we will be submitting more videos relatively soon. Going to stop the share here. We'll be submitting another video or 2 or 3 or however many we need based on the feedback we get from you. I'll leave you with the final thought. Again, yesterday we sent out an email that was asking for you to provide as much information about your business as possible. Again, at the Small Business Development Center, maybe we can help you, maybe we can't, but if there's a chance we can get you free money or there's a program that we can help you with, we'd like to keep you informed. So the more we know about your business and how we can help, the better arm we will be to help you. And again, all these services are at no cost, again, through the Small Business Development Center. We're paid by the government to be able to try and help you with these things. So we hope to see you soon, hopefully very soon. So as always, take care, guys.